Have you ever noticed how something as small and simple as salt carries a mystery bigger than life itself? From our kitchen tables to sacred rituals, from the oceans to ancient temples, salt has traveled through history as a symbol of wisdom, purity, and divine protection. Think about it. For a moment, salt is one of the few elements that has touched every culture, every faith, and every generation. Whether it's used to season food, to preserve life, or to cleanse energy, salt has always been more than just a mineral. It has been a spiritual key, a healer of wounds, a guardian against negativity, and a bridge between the physical and the divine. In this video, we'll uncover the timeless significance of salt. We'll explore how civilizations saw it as sacred, how religions spoke of it as holy, and how even today it continues to carry powerful lessons for our daily lives. By the end, you'll see salt not just as something you sprinkle on your food, but as a living symbol of spiritual wisdom and balance. Before we dive deep, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you never miss videos filled with timeless wisdom, uplifting spirituality, and life-changing insights. Salt is one of the most ordinary things we encounter daily, yet it carries extraordinary meaning. Without it, food tastes bland. Without it, the body becomes weak, since salt is vital for our health and balance. And without it, entire civilizations would have struggled, because salt was once as valuable as gold. But beyond its physical uses, salt captures the imagination because it reflects deeper truths about life. It teaches us about preservation. Just as salt preserves food, wisdom preserves the soul. Purification. Salt cleanses water, wounds, and spaces just as truth and prayer cleanse the heart. Balance. Too little salt leaves things dull, too much overwhelms. The same is true with life, love, and spirit. Endurance. Salt does not decay. It remains. Just like wisdom, truth, and spirit, salt is eternal. This is why ancient people looked at salt not merely as a resource, but as a gift of the divine. When Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth," he wasn't talking about food. He was speaking of character, influence, and spiritual preservation. Salt was a symbol of covenant, meaning it represented trust, faith, and unbreakable bond. In many traditions, sharing salt was a way of sealing a friendship, a peace agreement, or a sacred promise. Across cultures, we see the same reverence in Hindu traditions. Salt is used in rituals to remove negative energy. In Japanese Shinto practices, salt is sprinkled to purify spaces and welcome blessings. In ancient Egypt, salt played a role in preserving the body for eternity. And in the Bible, salt was an offering to God, pure, unspoiled, and lasting. Salt connected the human with the divine, the temporary with the eternal. Even today, salt can teach us valuable lessons. It reminds us to flavor our lives with kindness, wisdom, and compassion. It shows us the importance of balance, neither too little nor too much of anything. It encourages us to be preservers of goodness, keeping faith, family, and values alive in a world that often forgets them. It inspires us to stand strong, because just as salt never loses its essence, our true spirit can never be destroyed. So as we begin this journey into the symbolism of salt, I invite you to open your heart and mind. Notice how this simple mineral, often overlooked, actually carries layers of meaning, depth, and divine truth. Salt is more than seasoning, it's a reminder of who we are meant to be: wise, pure, strong, and filled with spirit. If you're ready to explore these mysteries with me, stay tuned. And remember, like, share, and subscribe so we can keep growing this community of wisdom seekers together. Salt has always been more than food. Across civilizations, it was seen as holy, precious, and eternal, a bridge between the natural and the divine. While today, we may take salt for granted, ancient societies considered it so valuable that it was offered to gods, used in rituals, and even exchanged as currency. Salt shaped culture, trade, and spirituality in ways we can still feel today. In the Bible, salt carries deep symbolic meaning. It was considered an essential part of offerings to God. In the book of Leviticus, God commanded that every grain offering should be seasoned with salt, symbolizing purity, preservation, and covenant loyalty. Jesus later spoke these powerful words: "You are the salt of the earth." This was not about flavoring food, but about spiritual influence. Salt represented the call to preserve goodness, truth, and righteousness in a world that can easily become corrupted. Just as salt preserves food from decay, people of faith are called to preserve the light of love, compassion, and justice. Salt, in biblical times, also symbolized an everlasting covenant. When people shared salt, it represented unbreakable friendship and loyalty. It was more than a meal, it was a promise. Key words woven naturally. Biblical symbolism of salt. Salt in the Bible. Spiritual meaning of salt. Covenant of salt. Salt of the earth, meaning, in ancient Egypt, salt had an equally profound role. It was a key ingredient in the process of mummification, symbolizing the preservation of life beyond death. To the Egyptians, death was not an end but a transition. Salt was believed to purify the body, protect the spirit, and prepare it for eternal life. Salt was also connected with the Nile, a river viewed as both a physical lifeline and a spiritual symbol of rebirth. The Egyptians understood that salt was more than substance, it was a spiritual guardian of immortality. In Hindu rituals, salt has long been used as a purifying element. During ceremonies, it is sprinkled in homes or temples to clear negative energy and invite blessings. Saltwater baths are also practiced for spiritual cleansing, believed to remove heavy energies that disturb peace of mind. In many households, salt is kept near the entrance as a symbol of protection. It reminds the family to remain grounded in truth, humility, and spiritual balance. Salt here is not just physical, it's sacred energy in solid form. In Japanese Shinto tradition, salt is a sacred purifier. At shrines, salt is placed at the entrance or sprinkled to create a clean, blessed space. In sumo wrestling, competitors throw salt into the ring before a match to ward off evil spirits and ensure fairness. Restaurants in Japan often place small bowls of salt outside their doors as a gesture of welcoming blessings and good fortune. This reflects the deep cultural wisdom that salt is not only for health, but also for spiritual harmony and protection. Salt's value in the ancient world was extraordinary. It was so prized that it became a form of currency. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with salt, leading to the word salary from the Latin salary. This shows how something we sprinkle so easily today once carried the weight of gold. Salt built empires, sustained armies, and inspired trade routes across continents. It was seen not only as food, but as wealth, power, and sacred trust. When we look across these traditions from the Bible to Egypt, from Hinduism to Shinto, we see a clear thread. Salt was never just seasoning. It was a symbol of life, spirit, and wisdom. It represented what is eternal, what is pure, and what is worth preserving. Salt teaches us that the smallest things often carry the greatest meaning. A single grain can flavor an entire meal, and just like salt, even the smallest acts of faith, kindness, and wisdom can transform the world around us. If you're enjoying this journey into the wisdom of salt, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who loves history and spirituality, and subscribe for more powerful insights every day. Salt doesn't just add flavor, it transforms. From the physical body to the unseen spirit, salt has been celebrated for its healing power, cleansing energy, and protective qualities. Across cultures and centuries, people discovered that this humble crystal carries more than taste, it carries wisdom, balance, and life itself. We've all heard the phrase, rubbing salt in the wound. It sounds painful, and it is. But in ancient medicine, salt was often applied to wounds because of its natural cleansing and antibacterial properties. The sting hurt, but the healing followed. This is a life lesson in disguise. Just as salt cleanses what is wounded, hardships in life often cleanse our souls. The pain of discipline, the sting of truth, the challenge of letting go, these moments burn, but they heal us. Salt whispers, a reminder. Sometimes what hurts is actually what saves us. Salt in healing also extends to the human body's balance. Our bodies cannot live without it. Salt maintains hydration, supports muscles, and keeps our hearts beating in rhythm. Too little weakens us, too much overwhelms us. In the same way, wisdom teaches us to seek balance in all things spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Beyond physical healing, salt has long been believed to cleanse energy. Across spiritual traditions, people use salt to remove what is heavy, negative, or draining. Salt baths are a common practice to release stress and restore calm. A soak in warm water with salt is said to draw out negative energy and leave the body refreshed, both physically and spiritually. Bowls of salt are placed in homes to absorb heavy energy. Many believe a simple bowl of salt in the corner of a room acts like a sponge, quietly pulling in negativity and leaving peace behind. Salt lamps today are popular for creating a soothing atmosphere, symbolizing light, cleansing, and grounding. This idea of salt energy cleansing reminds us that life can weigh us down, but with the right practices, we can restore peace and clarity. Just as salt clears water of impurities, it clears our hearts and minds of the invisible burdens we carry. Asterisks throughout history. Salt has also been seen as a guardian against harm. In many cultures, salt was sprinkled at doorways or windows to block evil spirits and protect the household. Sailors once carried salt on ships to ward off storms and bring safe passage. In folk traditions, carrying a pinch of salt in a pouch was thought to bring safety and luck. Even today, many spiritual practitioners place salt at the thresholds of their homes, believing it creates a barrier between themselves and negative forces. Salt doesn't just season it, protects and preserves. This reflects a deep truth. Protection often comes in simple, humble forms. Sometimes the smallest rituals like saying a prayer, lighting a candle, or keeping salt nearby create the strongest shields around us. Salt also teaches the wisdom of balance. Without salt, food is tasteless. With too much, it becomes inedible. Life is no different. Too little discipline and life feels empty. Too much pressure and life feels overwhelming. But with balance, like the right measure of salt, life becomes rich, flavorful, and fulfilling. Salt is a daily reminder that wisdom lies not in extremes, but in harmony. So what does salt really teach us? That life's deepest lessons often come through small, ordinary things. Salt tells us, healing sometimes stings, but it restores. Cleansing requires release, not resistance. Protection can come from the simplest elements of faith. Balance is the secret ingredient to a fulfilled life. Salt is not just on our tables, it's in our spirits, calling us to live with strength, wisdom, and harmony. If you're finding these insights meaningful, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more weekly wisdom, and share it with someone who could use the protective and healing reminder of salt today. Salt is one of the simplest elements in our daily lives, yet it carries some of the deepest spiritual wisdom. This tiny crystal has been called the symbol of eternal friendship, sacred trust, and divine wisdom. Why? Because salt is a simple teacher with profound lessons for the soul. Salt reminds us that size doesn't determine impact. Just a pinch of salt transforms an entire meal. Without it, food tastes bland. With it, flavors come alive. The same is true in life. Small acts of kindness, gratitude, or prayer can transform entire destinies. A smile can heal someone's day. A kind word can save a life. A single prayer whispered in faith can open the door to miracles. Salt teaches us that we don't have to be great in number or loud in voice to make a difference. Even the smallest effort, when done with love and intention, carries powerful energy. One of salt's greatest lessons is the importance of balance. Too little salt leaves life bland, tasteless, and incomplete. Too much overwhelms and destroys the beauty of the dish. The perfect balance brings out the best in everything. Life works the same way. Too little discipline leaves us drifting. Too much pressure suffocates us. Too little rest leaves us weary. Too much rest leaves us stagnant. Balance in relationships, work, faith, and health is the secret to lasting peace. Salt whispers, find your middle ground. Harmony is not about extremes, it is about finding the right measure that allows your life to flourish. Another lesson from salt is preservation. For centuries, salt was the world's most trusted preservative. It kept food from spoiling and carried nourishment across long journeys. In the same way, we are called to preserve the good things in life: faith, love, family, values, hope, and truth. The world may change, but certain things are too precious to be lost. When we preserve kindness in our hearts, it spreads to others. When we preserve hope in dark times, it keeps us strong. Salt reminds us that preservation is not about clinging to the past, but about protecting the treasures of the spirit so they continue to nourish generations to come. Salt also teaches us about hidden strength. When salt dissolves into food, it becomes invisible. You can't see it, but you can feel its presence in every bite. True wisdom and true spirituality often work the same way: quiet, unseen, but deeply powerful. The most impactful people are not always the loudest or the most visible. Instead, they are those who work quietly in the background, adding strength, love, and healing wherever they go. Salt teaches us that strength doesn't always have to be loud. Sometimes, the most powerful influence is the one that works quietly, faithfully, and consistently. Because of all these qualities, salt has long been seen as the symbol of friendship, sacred trust, and divine wisdom. In ancient times, to share salt with someone was to declare loyalty and lasting friendship. Breaking that trust was unthinkable. Even today, we can carry this lesson, to be like salt in our relationships, to flavor them with kindness, preserve them with loyalty, and strengthen them with trust. Salt, though small, is a mighty teacher. It calls us to make small but meaningful contributions. Live in balance and harmony. Preserve what is good and lasting. Draw strength from hidden, quiet wisdom. It is a reminder that life's greatest truths often come in simple, humble forms. If these lessons inspired you, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who values wisdom, and subscribe so you can continue this journey of spiritual growth with us. We've explored salt through the lens of history, scripture, spirituality, and life lessons. But the real question is, how do we bring this wisdom into our everyday lives? After all, symbols have power only when we live them out. Salt is more than seasoning. It's a daily reminder of peace, purity, balance, and spiritual strength. Let's look at practical, simple, and meaningful ways you can invite the wisdom of salt into your life today. A bowl of salt, a symbol of peace and purity. One of the simplest practices is placing a small bowl of salt in your home. Many cultures believe this absorbs heavy or negative energy, leaving the space calm and welcoming. Beyond that, it also serves as a visible reminder of purity and peace. Every time you walk past that bowl of salt, let it remind you to keep your words kind, keep your thoughts pure, keep your heart at peace. It's not just a sacred reminder that peace begins within you. Keywords woven: salt in spirituality. Bowl of salt in home. Salt for peace. Salt symbolism in daily life. Salt baths, stress relief, and energy cleansing. Salt has been used for centuries in healing and cleansing rituals. One of the most accessible ways to experience this today is through a salt bath. When life feels heavy, stressful, or draining, soaking in warm water mixed with salt can feel like washing away the burdens of the day. Many spiritual traditions believe that salt water draws out negative energy, leaving the body refreshed and the spirit lightened. Think of it as both self-care and soul care. As the salt dissolves into the water, imagine your worries dissolving too, replaced with peace, clarity, and renewed strength. Keywords woven: salt baths for stress, salt for energy cleansing, healing power of salt. Salt spiritual cleansing. Season your words and actions with salt. In the Bible, Paul wrote, "Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt." What a beautiful thought that our words should carry the same power as salt, preserving, uplifting, and life-giving. Let salt remind you to flavor your words with kindness, balance your actions with wisdom, preserve relationships with trust and loyalty. Salt teaches us that small words, when spoken with love, can transform lives. Just as a pinch of salt flavors an entire dish, one kind word can flavor someone's entire day. Keywords woven: salt of the earth, spiritual wisdom of salt, kindness and wisdom. Salt life lessons. Preserving what truly matters. Salt's ability to preserve food teaches us to preserve the things that matter most: faith, family, love, and hope. In a world that often encourages us to chase trends and temporary pleasures, salt calls us back to the essentials. Each time you taste salt in your food, let it remind you: preserve your values even when challenged. Preserve your hope, even in dark seasons. Preserve your love, even when the world grows cold. This is what it means to be the salt of the earth, to carry goodness, balance, and light wherever you go. Keywords woven: preserve with salt, faith, and family values. Spiritual lessons of salt. Salt wisdom for life. Living as salt of the earth, salt dissolves into food and disappears, yet its presence is always felt. In the same way, your impact doesn't have to be loud or flashy. By living with kindness, balance, and wisdom, your influence quietly spreads into the lives of others. Every time you pick up a shaker of salt or taste it in your meal, remember, you are called to be the salt of the earth, a preserver of goodness, a bringer of balance, and a messenger of light. Final reflection and call to action: salt is more than seasoning, its spirit, wisdom, and healing in its purest form. It's a reminder that small things carry great meaning, that balance creates peace, and that purity preserves what is eternal. If this message inspired you, I'd love for you to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to this channel for more spiritual insights every single week. Together, let's keep spreading wisdom, light, and balance, just like salt.